Hello, welcome back with another tutorial. In this video, I would like to show you how to install Windows 10 using a bootable USB drive. But I will not be creating the USB bootable drive in this video. If you want to know how to create it, you can watch one of my previous videos. I think it was one of my first videos I did about 4 weeks ago, about 4 or 5 weeks ago. So if you check one of my videos, you should be able to create a USB flash drive to do install of Windows install for different operating systems. But this one I've already created a USB. So the first thing I will do is gonna power up the system and go up to the BIOS setup utility to set it up, to set the system to boot from the USB instead of booting from the hard drive or the network drive. So the first thing I will do is to boot up the system. So pressing the power button now, and I'm gonna press F12 uh, to get to the boot menu. Different systems you have different buttons to get to the setup utility. So for my system, I had to press F12 to get to the main menu. So as you can see, I need to go to the setup utility, system setup, press enter. So in the system setup, I want to change the boot sequence, which is on the general here. So if I click on the boot sequence here in the general, it shows me all the drives. So these are the drives activated right now. The system can boot from the onboard USB floppy, but I'm not using any floppy. So this one is for the hard drive and this for USB devices. So this is the one I want. So they're all enabled at the moment. So as you can see, if this system was in a network environment like in a corporate infrastructure, normally you use the onboard network controller or the network adapter to boot from the network to re-image your system, because you have to do the install to join the system on the domain. It's not like a home install, like a retail copy of a CD. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna make sure that the USB is the first device to boot when I put my USB stick in. So I'm gonna click on this USB and move it to the top. So the USB is going to be the first boot device, then the next one is the hard drive, and the one here I don't need, but I'm gonna leave it at the bottom bar. So I'm gonna click on apply here for the settings, then exit. But before I exit, I would like to put my USB flash drive in the system. So I've already put that in the system now, so I'm gonna exit. Here, the moment I exit, the computer is going to restart and it's gonna boot straight from the USB device if it's bootable. So exit there. I don't need to press anything, it's just gonna boot straight from the USB. If you were to use like, okay, I've got Windows 10 set up 64-bit or 32-bit, I always go for the 64-bit. 64-bit, then press enter. So it's loading the set of files for the install to begin. The installation can take from 1 hour or less. It depends on the system hardware you have in your system. The faster your computer, the less time you spend on installation, and the slower obviously it's gonna take longer. But within 1 hour, the main install is finished, so you get left with installation of application, maybe Office program, and to download other applications like VLC for video player. Okay, this is the main screen for the Windows 10 install. Some retail copies, if you have it, you see English United States by default, but my own copy is a United Kingdom by default. So it depends on if it was United States and you want English United Kingdom, you can always click on this drop down to change it. But most of the time, the first one you cannot change it, even if it's United States. But you can change the keyboard layout at the bottom here. On the keyboard input here, then if you have all that correct or selected, then you can click on next. The next button is the install now. Okay, if you have a product key at the moment, you can put it in here to activate the Windows during installation. But I'm not gonna put any product key at the moment. I like doing it at the end, or sometimes I do put it in. So I'll click on I don't have a product key. So you can click on the version of Windows you want to install. I would like to install Windows 10, Windows 10 Professional. Then click on next. So the next stage is to accept the license terms and agreements of Microsoft by checking this box here and click on next. Okay, in this menu you have the option to upgrade the operating system from a lower operating system, for example Windows 8 or Windows 8.1, to be upgraded to Windows 10. If I was going to do an upgrade of Windows 8.1 to Windows 10, I could have choose this option here, but I want to do a clean install, so I'm going to click on custom here. So I've got a 500 gigabyte hard drive which is blank at the moment, so I'm going to click on next for the installation to be done. If I was planning to install a dual boot, like to install two different operating systems or even three, I could have just click on new and put the capacity I want for the partitions. But for now I want to use the whole drive to install one operating system, which is the Windows 10. So if I click on next here, so setup is now kicking off now. So this build is gonna take a bit of time, and I'll get back to you as soon as it gets to the end. Okay, the system is gonna restart now. You can click restart now, or you can just leave it to restart automatically. I normally leave it to restart by itself. So the USB is still in there. Normally before it restarts, you have to remove the USB. Otherwise, it's gonna go back and start from there. But I'm gonna click on Ctrl Alt Delete on the keyboard so that I can remove the USB quickly for it to restart to continue the installation. Otherwise, it can start the install again to go back to the main menu. So if you forget to remove the media, either DVD drive or USB drive, until the computer reboots, like you've seen earlier, you can quickly press Control while it's doing the countdown. Press Ctrl Alt Delete. Control normally is Ctrl and Alt is Alt. Then delete key on the keyboard. Ctrl Alt Delete all together, so that the system can restart, can go back to the restart. So while it is restarting, you can quickly pull up the USB stick or the DVD drive from the system so that it can continue the installation. So that's the second restart of the system. Automatic restart is part of the installation. Is a normal thing that you will see when you install an operating system. Okay, so in this main menu now, just gonna finish up the installation now. So I'm just gonna click on yes for the region. Keyboard layout UK. I'm gonna skip this bit here. If you have to connect to the internet, you can do it, or you can always do it later on. Most of the time, I like doing it at the end of the installation. So I'm gonna say I don't have internet to allow me to click on continue with limited setup. Then you can put your username here. So I'm gonna type test123 as the username, then the password. So okay, you're gonna be asked 3 questions. You need to select 3 questions and 3 answers. In case you forget your Microsoft account password, you will be asked. You will be asked the questions that you've put here and the answers. So I'm just gonna put random stuff because I don't need this bit. I just want to go past. Just accept here. No. These are all extra features that you can use with Windows 10, but I don't like using them. Don't use any app or install any apps that you know that you don't use or you're not gonna use. because it's only going to make your system slow if you have low capacity of the requirements of the operating system. Except no, no, no. So this is the end of the Windows 10 installation.